Good morning, good afternoon, and also good night for everyone who see this presentation. My name is Ribka Meirina, and my friends is Chafidha Torenia Wibowo. We are going to analyze the type, characteristics, and elements of the prose. Thank you very much, guys, for your attention. Please watch carefully. All, the type of this prose is a novel because these proses belong to adventure fiction story. Next is characteristics. First, format paragraph. Format paragraph with no set or predetermined line length, with or without subheadings, can be complemented by graphic. Second is language feature. Everyday language with sentences and conversation types without specific poetic measures, rhythm, or math. And the last is message. Santiago remains enthusiastic, steadfast, and doesn't give up, even though for 40 days he didn't get fish, but it all paid off when he got the marlin monster. So we are going to analyze the intrinsic elements of prose. Next is the theme. An old fisherman who wants to prove to anyone by his persistence that he is not a cursed fisherman. The next is plot. A. Exposition. It tells about Santiago, an old fisherman who went through 40 days without catching a single fish. He is accompanied by a child named Manolin on his way to find fish. Unfortunately, Manolin's parents not allow Manolin to accompany Santiago because they think that Santiago is a cursed fisherman. How pity Santiago because he is known by other people as a cursed fisherman. B. Rising action. He fished traditionally and he was very good at it. He had an elaborate plan to capture the fish he was after. He was a skilled fisherman and his skills tended to serve him well over the years. When he got bite, so began his battle with the great marlin. C. The climax. When Santiago finally caught the marlin, it was a decisive victory for the old fisherman and he was proud of it. He was valiant in his battle and he did everything he could do to kill it. D. Falling action. After the fish was caught by him, the shark swam up to the dead marlin that Santiago had tied to the side of the boat and started to tear it apart. They tore it up so bad and it makes Santiago horrified. His effort weren't enough for the sharks because they had eaten every last piece of meat on that fish. A. Resolution. When Santiago docked there, but there is nothing left from the fish except the skeleton. He was sad because the fish was eaten, but he was more sad because he couldn't do nothing to stop it. He enjoyed fighting with the fish and he was so proud. One thing he could do with his experience is cherish it and tell it as a story of when he caught and killed a great marlin. Next is setting. First, place. Mainly on a Gulf Stream. He was an old man who fished alone in his cave in the Gulf Stream and he had gone 40 days without taking a fish. Page 9. Second, time. Night and morning. He was shivering with the morning cold. Page 16. And then, good night then, I will wake you in the morning. Page 15. And the last is cultural context. A cursed fisherman. It is the social culture. But after 40 days without a fish, the boy's parents had told him that the old man was now definitely and finally salao, which is the worst form of unlucky. Salao means like uh, the unlucky person in Spanish language. So the next is characterization. A. Protagonist is the old fisherman, which is Santiago. B. Antagonist, the great marlin. So the point of view from this prose is the third person. So the style from this prose is simple words, And the last is mood or feelings or scary, sad, and nervous.
Analyze the extrinsic elements of prose. Author biography. Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Miller Hemingway was an American author and journalist. He was born on July 21, 1899 in Oak Park, Illinois, and he died on July 2, 1961 in Ketchum, Idaho, where he committed suicide. Hemingway's economical and understated style had a strong influence on 20th century fiction, while his life of adventure and his public image influenced later generations. Hemingway produced most of his work between the mid-1920s and the mid-1950s, and won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. He published 7 novels, 6 short story collections, and 2 non-fiction works. 3 novels for collection of short stories, and 3 non-fiction works were published posthumously. After finishing high school, Hemingway reported for a few months for the Kansas City Star, before leaving for the Italian front to enlist with the World War One ambulance drivers, where he was wounded in 1918 and returned home. Hemingway's experience in wartime formed the basis for his novel A Farewell to Arms. In 1922, he married Handel Richardson, the first of his 4 wives. The couple moved to Paris, where he worked as a foreign correspondent, and fell under the influence of the modernist writers and artists of the 1920s lost generation expatriate community. The Sun Also Rise, Hemingway's first novel, was published in 1926. Hemingway married Paulina Pfeiffer after his 1927 divorce from Handler Richardson. However, this marriage was also unsuccessful, and the couple divorced after Hemingway returned from the Spanish Civil War, where he had been a journalist. Drawing from his experience in the Spanish Civil War, Hemingway published For Whom the Bell Tolls. He married his third wife, Martha Gellhorn, in 1940. They separated when he met Mary Wells in London during World War II. Shortly after the publication of The Old Man and the Sea, one of his masterpieces in 1952, Hemingway went on safari to Africa, where he was almost killed into successive plane crashes that left him in pain or ill health for much of the rest of his life. Hemingway had permanent residence in Key West, Florida, and Cuba during the 1930s and 1940s, but in 1959 he moved from Cuba to Ketchum, Idaho, where he put an end to his life in the summer of 1961. Religious element of the story: The Old Man and the Sea. Religious values. In the text, we have the sentence in the page 25. He'll take it, the old man sighed alone. Good, help him to take it. And in the page 34, they have the sentence, God help me to have the kind girl. In the page 48, there is a sentence, know that I have him coming so beautifully. God help me endure. I'll say 100 our Father Son and 100 Hail Marys, but I cannot say them now. Consider them sight, he took on saying them later. And in the page 60, there have sentence, God knows how much that last one took. So, uh, from the text, we got the religious values. They show that we must believe in God, and in the any situation, God is what we most need.
Social values. I would like to go. If I cannot wish with you, I would like to serve with some way. Page 7. It made the boy sad to see the old man come in each day with his hip empty, and he always went down to help him carry either the cold lines of the gaff and harpoon and the sail that was furled around the mast. Page 6. The social value of the above text is the boy is helping the old man who is carrying a large roll of rope or hook, and the boys always want to help old men.
Culture fellow from the novel in the page 7, they have sentence. They sat on the terrace and many fishermen made fun of the old man and he's not angry. Others, from older fishermen, looked at him and were sad. From the text, the crucial follow in the text above is how easy it is for people to believe even though it is not necessarily true. Because in the text, they think that old man is always unlucky, even though it is not necessarily true. Social situations when the novel was made. The Old Man and the Sea is a short novel written by the American author Ernest Hemingway in 1951 in Cayo Blanco, Cuba, and published in 1952. It was the last major work of fiction written by Hemingway that was published during his lifetime. In 1953, The Old Man and the Sea was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, and it was cited by the Nobel Committee as contributing to their awarding of the Nobel Prize in Literature to Hemingway in 1952. That's all presentation from us. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.